You remove CBF or FCR from Spirit Shroud, I'm gonna be real with you, Silver. I'm not gonna do that just for LLD, probably. Part of the reason that item is interesting is because it's a CBF option early on that you can find. I know you want it for LLD, but it's not really worth changing a fun progression item just for LLD. Just for LLD. Just for LLD. At least not to the point of removing CBF. Or at least not to the point of removing CBF. Or at least not. What's up with herbs? What's up with herbs? What's up with herbs? What do you mean? What do you mean what's up with herbs? We like doing herbs. Alright. Shine bright like a diamond. Well, that's what's up with herbs. If you aren't familiar, this is an Easter egg item that's just in the game files. This has always been in Diablo. Makes you sparkly, and I think it gives you run speed, if I remember correctly. Pretty sure you sparkle and you get run speed. Yeah, this has always been in the game, though. Not something we added. Or you guys get excited that we added herbs. Okay, chat. We have, I believe, one more reveal for today's stream. We just do a quick double check here. Yeah, one more reveal. And then we're going to do a summary. The next stream, show off some more content. The last reveal, chat. Stop gatekeeping herb senpai. This is not okay. I don't want you to be on herbs. I want you to be at 100%. Alright, chat. We have a new Vortex Orb. What was the thought process behind the Lucian buffs? And should every class have a build to do it? Yeah, every class already does have a build to do it. If you mean the bug fix changes, we made a bunch of bug fix changes in last season. And when we made the bug fix changes, it actually revealed that there were some bugs we weren't even aware of, which meant the difficulty spiked a little higher than we initially intended. It's just something we've been reviewing and messing with internally for the upcoming season. So. Can you hurry up and reveal it? I have to poop and can't poop at my desk. I mean, cup your hands, dude. Cup your hands and poop in your cupped hands. Nothing wrong with that. What you gotta do, you gotta do. Alright, here we go, chat. New Vortex Orb. Skyfall. So Skyfall is currently a level 25 Thunderstorm when equipped. Boom. 3 to lightning skills, 20 FCR, 10 to 20 lightning pierce, 2 to 3 static field, 15 to 25 dex, 30 to 50 extra gold from monster. Orb. What's the tick rate? It would be the base tick rate. If you're familiar with Thunderstorm at all, you know that Thunderstorm's delay is reduced per base levels. So if you put points, then the base level tick rate. It's good my mic bugged because I was being toxic. Charge your mic, son. It's okay. My mic died while I was being toxic. It's okay. You didn't want to hear what I said, anyways. It was not good. I was being toxic. It's good my mic died then. Say it again. Nah, it's okay. It's okay. We're not gonna go back there. The moment's passed. I heard it. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. Level 68 requirement no one will use? That's fine, don't use them. Can you stack thunderstorms? No, you can't stack thunderstorms now. I mean, why not just use the shooters? I don't know. Why not? You want to use the shooters? Use the shooters. Is this just a meme item or is it actually Thunderstorm build enabling? I mean, Thunderstorm's a build on its own. You don't need this item to play Thunderstorm. We've had lots of people post Thunderstorm videos. I think a lot of people don't understand how good Thunderstorm is. Oh my god, he typed it again. Now I have to be toxic. Gulzer typed make Thunderstorm a real build twice now. The first time I said, listen, you're a little...
If history has taught us anything, it's not to root against the underdog.
The British are coming!
It pays to know what's coming.
Check the group chat!
Every great leap began with a bold first step. And there's no shortage of second chances. Against impossible odds, you don't stand out. You swing first. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Please don't mention how good Crackle Shot is the man. It's the community. With your max TS, it apply as well. With your max TS, your values would probably just be higher than the native skill. Unless you'd have done more than +5 skills, but it should take the higher of the two. But if you're just saying, like, if you had no plus skills and you dumped 20 points in and then you use this and then you were getting the base speed, then yeah. It's nice for an Act 3 Merc. It's cool. Yeah, you could use it in an Act 3 Merc. You mean like this? I'm naked. I got 400 HP. Should have cast ES chat. Alright, now we got ES. I made a mistake. I made a very dire mistake. My merc needs a chess piece. Give him a chess piece. Give him my griffins. Pop off, buddy. Who's the merc now? I just learned you can drop items on the portrait. Thank you. No problem. You are the worthless merc. Makes a Nova on hit now? Yeah, PD2 Thunderstorm makes a Nova. Yeah, pretty cool. Seems like it needs more buffs. True. Why is my merc not one-shotting the whole screen? Will your Thunderstorm and his overlap, or is there an internal cooldown with one Thunderstorm going off? The way the next hit delay functions in PD2 is that it's based on the source, so they will both apply, yes, because the Merc is one source and I'm one source, so the next hit delays are from independent sources, which mean they don't block each other. Possible ban evader monitoring says is Chain Lightning getting some love again? Really like using that skill for some reason. I also really like chain lightning, so maybe. I mean, I guess I could talk about one thing. I do plan on going through some of... It's not really something I plan on talking about today, but I do plan on going through a few of the lightning abilities. And changing them from doing, like, for example, lightning and chain lightning. Instead of them doing, like, 1 to 8,000, I'm probably going to bring them closer to, like, 20% of the max damage at the min. So this would be, like, you know, closer to, like, 1,800-ish or something. It'd be, like, 1,800 to 9.8, for an example, right? So... that is something I do plan on doing. I still want to have a very like large variable on it, but we're thinking like 1 to X is a little bit crazy. So we're probably gonna do that to a bunch of the lightning abilities in the upcoming season. And again, that'll probably happen to a bunch of the different lightning abilities. We'll just kind of adjust them to be closer to like, you know, like I said, maybe somewhere between the 15 to 25% based on the skill, right? It'll probably vary based on the ability and like the vibe at the time, but. It's something that we're gonna kind of do. Yeah, I'll probably apply to a bunch of abilities. So, all right, chat. We'll do a quick recap here. Do a quick little recap here. We actually went through quite a lot of stuff today. Actually. So right off the top of the rip, a few items have received Deadly Strike multipliers, which is an additive multiplier on top of Deadly Strike's 1.5x. An example would be Death Cleaver, which has 50% Deadly Strike multiplier. Currently, it's local to the weapon, so this would mean that if you're attacking with the Death Cleaver, and you hit a Deadly Strike, that would be a 2x modifier as opposed to a 1.5x modifier. Another item that's received this is Wraith Skin, which got 25%, and Flesh Ripper has also gotten 25%. So just a couple examples right now that, again, these are all work in progress. Things may change, values may change, buffs, nerfs, whatever, right? But just kind of concepts that we're currently exploring. We have adjusted Armor King Lorik, so its bonuses are a bit lower and removed the mage skills from it, the summon skeleton mage skills, to cement it more as an archer/warrior wand. We've also made it so that it can now roll 2 to maximum skeleton warriors or 2 to maximum skeleton archers. So you can get an archer wand or a warrior wand, kind of cementing it as the warrior/archer wand. Added a new ghost wand that's unique, called Nethercrux. This is a 2 to Necro, 2 to maximum Skelly Mage, 20 FCR, or 20 faster run walk, 3 to 4 revive, 2 to 3 Skelly Mage, 3 to 4 mastery, poison res, PLR wand. So obviously, pretty obvious it can be used as a budget Rathma wand for any build if you need some PLR source, or you can use it as, you know, a revive mage / hybrid revive X wand, kind of what you want to do, right? We've added a new unique Vortex Orb called Skyfall. This is a level 25 Thunderstorm when equipped, 3 to lightning skills, 20 FCR, 10 to 20 enemy lightning res piercing, 2 to 3 static field, 15 to 25 dex gold find orb. James Bond copyright. Oh yeah, there was like a James Bond Skyfall thing, wasn't there? I don't really remember that though. Was that GameCube? I don't remember. We made it so maps only drop as white or unique. So a lot of people have been asking about that for a while. It will only drop as white or unique in the upcoming season. Just a rundown as well. The new season will be coming out on April 24th at 10 a.m. PST. The open beta will be April 20th to 21st. The closed beta will be April 11th to 19th. Why is it Season of Betrayal? You'll find out in a future stream. PST, correct, yep. 10 a.m. PST. Any thoughts on Deadly Strike efficiency at Deathbit or War Strike? Definitely might explore more options. I'm not going to say that that's the final thing. It's just kind of something I've tinkered with so far, so. We've added a new unique map made by a community member named Gimli Hardcore. This is the Necrul Hellfire map. So for you guys that are familiar with Hellfire, it's very much a throwback to Diablo 1. Obviously, if you're familiar with Diablo 1 Hellfire, you know that the boss, the final boss rather, of that expansion is Necrul, and this is his zone, so Necrul might be making a comeback in PD2, you know. Does it come with tickets to Aerosmith? Hi, welcome to the show. Have you seen Diablo? Do you want tickets to Aerosmith? Yeah, maybe. This is why we have graphics card, new tile set, hell yeah. No, this is actually imported from Diablo 1 and then edited. So Gimli put in a bunch of work to kind of clean it up a bit and make it up to the standard with Diablo 2. But this is imported from Diablo 1, yeah. I thought I beat Hellfire, but I don't know who Necrul is. I'm going to be honest. Even though we're adding Necrul, he's kind of a lame boss in Hellfire, so maybe you just don't remember him. They kind of were really lazy with him. In Diablo 1 Hellfire, Necrul is basically just like a reskin butcher. He doesn't have any abilities. He doesn't really do anything. He just kind of auto attacks and talks about Aerosmith if you have the thing enabled. He's a little lame in Diablo Hellfire. You might just not remembered him. How's this game? Game's not bad. That was an Easter egg? Yeah, it is an Easter egg. He doesn't actually talk about Aerosmith unless you enable some stuff. There's a bunch of like goofy stuff in Hellfire. There's a man in a cow suit, like a pajama cow suit. There's a girl looking for a teddy bear. And then there's an Aerosmith thing, and I'm sure there's some other stuff. The old unofficial expansion, yeah. It was initially official, but it got disavowed because Brevik was very unhappy with a lot of things regarding it. Because they were working on Diablo 2 at the time, and they outsourced to Sierra, who was kind of like under the umbrella of Blizzard and Activision at the time. And they gave them a design doc, and they basically ignored the design doc and did whatever the fuck they wanted. And apparently the communication between the two studios was really bad, so Brevik was pretty upset with a lot of things. Which is fair. I mean, you take this prized achievement and great game that they made and make some chalked outsourced expansion. Sierra is known for doing whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. There's an island too called Jeff's Island. Really? I don't know about that one. I'll check that out. Yeah, maps will only drop as white or unique. The City of Ure boss will now always drop a socketed unique, so we fixed that. We're also going to be doing a map shuffle in the upcoming season, so look forward to maps from what tiers. We will be showing a new map next week as well, which is going to be a non-unique map. I know some people have been asking for a non-unique map to be added this season, so that means that we'll have a total of 2 unique maps and a non-unique map being added in the upcoming season. We've made a few changes to some of the combat masteries. I guess I'll switch into a different character because it's a little easier to show over here. So basically, in the previous season, we showed that 2-handed mastery is getting 20% melee splash. Now, both the masteries will get 1% melee splash per soft point, up to 20%. So that means that the max value, the one-handed mastery, will cap at 20%. and that means that the two-handed mastery will start at 21 and cap at 40.
That's what I'm gonna be doing every
Ooh, the
single night.
Equality with the fucking hundo, dude. Appreciate you, Equality.
S13, have a great season, S13.
If you guys don't know, Equality is our launcher guy. Dude donated a fucking... This dude funds the fuck out of the mod and builds the launcher. So if you guys ever see Equality in game, show the man some fucking respect, alright? Dude is an absolute legend. Builds the launcher and honestly gives too much money to the mod. Alright? You gotta chill, bro. I appreciate your quality. We also, just to continue on this whole melee splash vibe, we obviously realized that there's a few abilities because we made it so that the frenzy melee splash is local to only frenzy, right? We wanted to kind of give a little bit of that power back to some of the abilities that are no longer going to be able to dip into that frenzy splash, such as Berserk, which now has 20% melee splash radius built into it, and such as Concentrate, which also now has 20% melee splash radius built into it. So Conk effectively would have 20 or 40 melee splash with a one-handed weapon if you maxed it. And with a two-handed weapon, considering two-handed mastery can get up to 40, that would obviously be additive with a 20, which means that Conk could theoretically be 60% with a two-handed weapon. Berserk, again, is only a dual-wield skill, so obviously it can't benefit from two-handed mastery, so it would be 20 or 40 based on whether you have level 20 on the one-handed. Right? So just a little bit of a giving back there. Whirlwind does not have anything built into it, so Whirlwind will be a 20 or 40 based on the mastery you're using. And then obviously Frenzy stays the same, but Frenzy is going to get also buffed by getting an additional 20. So Frenzy is going to be kind of Giga AoE now, to a degree. You're doing a really good job today. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm not going to say I'm doing a good job. The whole team is doing a good job, as always. I appreciate that comment, though. We've also capped repair costs at 250k now. So repair costs will never be able to go above 250k. You're not going to have any of those like million gold repairs anymore. You don't got to like sit there and shake and sweat because it's just like, holy shit, my repair cost is 1.5 mil on this crafted item. So it'll cap at 250k. Obviously, that's still quite a bit, but it's not nearly as much. Dude, streaming before weddings and after getting COVID, you can't stop them. Yeah, yeah. Literally, the last stream, I was streaming in a blazer. I fucking turned the stream off, jumped in the car, drove for an hour to get to another city, and showed up 4 minutes before the wedding started. I'm not even joking. I showed up 4 minutes before the wedding started. I rolled up and I'm like, I'm here, let's do this. And jumped in. Couldn't have been closer. 4 minutes more than you needed, yeah. I would think Senpai always streams in a suit. I do, my birthday suit. So, the stash is also no longer blocked by items. So tooltips will no longer block the stash. They will always wrap around it. So if you got one of those friends that's really annoying and he keeps blocking the stash with items, you don't gotta worry about that anymore. Or if you're that friend, if you're that friend that keeps dumping at the stash, I have only those kind of friends, thank you. I am that guy. Yeah, there you go. So you don't gotta worry about that anymore. You are a beast? I didn't make this change. This is Cyrus. You can call Cyrus a beast if you're really liking this change. I didn't even know he was gonna do this. He just kinda YOLO did it. Yeah, very cool change. You can now also pot during mobility skills. So previously you couldn't use potions during things like whirlwind. So now, if you take some damage, and then you're whirlwinding, you can pot during your whirlwind. The same thing applies to things like leap, charge, you know, other mobility skills. You can leap and be potting in the middle of your leap. Something to consider. I'm gonna die. I looked away for 2 seconds, chat. Here we go. We'll leap and pot during it. Oh yeah, that felt good. Yeah, so something to consider regarding this is that if you die and during the whirlwind or the mobility skill, for example, if you hit 0 health during it, it will not allow you to pot, and you will die at the end of the animation still. So you can still die during mobility skills. If your life hits 0 during the animation, you cannot pot. You will stay at 0, and you will exit the animation dead. So still make sure that you pot before you hit 0. But you can pot during the animation. So something to consider. Just something to consider there. What happens if you exit game at 0 HP? You're dead. So again, you do not have invincibility frames during it. You still die. Sounds like a giga nerf, or did I miss something? It's not a nerf because that's already how it worked. The buff is that you can now pot before that happens. But that still happens the same as before. So it is not a nerf. It is the exact same functionality as it was previously, but now you can pot before that happens. So it is a giga buff. This is a buff, quotations. We've changed a few things regarding the character sheet. For example, this will now display the name of unique mobs if it's a unique mob. The chance to hit formula will now take into consideration whether you're hitting a boss or a white mob. So for example, if you have ignore target defense in your weapon and you hover a white mob, it will automatically show 100% chance to hit because ignore target defense makes you always hit. If you have something like minus target defense, it will take that into the calculation. If you have attack rating against demons or undead and you hover a demon or an undead, it will take that into consideration. So all of the attack rating based player local stats will now apply to the attack rating formula on hover. So just something to consider as well. And defense will now display... Why is it not working now? Whoop. Back chat. Maybe it's because of cow. Maybe it's because of the cowl. There we go. I guess there's a show for cows. Cows don't missiles, but if you have something like defense versus missiles, so for example, this item has 100 defense versus missiles, then it now splits your defense versus missile and melee if you have both, right? So for example, if I take this item off now, it's only displaying one defense value because I do not have any defense versus missile or defense versus melee. But this item, being that it has defense versus missile, will now split the tooltips into 2, right? So, does mods even do anything though? Well, you can see right here, this is a low-level item with 100 defense versus missile. It is now giving me a 1% increased chance of avoiding being hit. So they do in fact do something, yes. And that's without shout or anything, right? If I do something like I dump into shout here, I got level 31 shout now. And boom. There you go. I can see the difference. Go ahead. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. That's what else we got. We've updated some art on a few of the items. So the giant maimer we showed in the previous stream now has unique art, as well as the Sage's Defiance. So giant maimer art, Sage's Defiance art. Very sick art by Erlen as always. Jav and Spear Mastery now has critical strike multiplier instead of crit. And critical strike from mastery are now considered one thing instead of being separate things. Previously, if you had critical strike from mastery and critical strike from Zon, they rolled independently. So there was basically deadly strike roll, critical strike mastery roll, and critical strike Zon roll were 3 independent rolls. Now it's simply deadly strike and critical strike are 2 rolls. And we also buffed Crushing Blow in a bunch of different ways. So Crushing Blow was buffed against white mobs. Crushing Blow now has a much lower penalty on higher player count. Before, Crushing Blow went from 1/8 HP in players 1 to 1 in 498 HP in players 8. So roughly it was like 0.2% of the monster's HP in P8. Now it goes from 1/7 of the HP in P1 to 1/16.8 in players 8, roughly about 6% of the monster's HP. So again, in P8, it went from 0.2% of monster's HP to 6%. And again, this is for white mobs specifically. There's still a penalty for Prime Evils as well. And the Prime Evil Crushing Blow was also buffed, so Crushing Blow will be more effective against Prime Evils as well. We'll put all the values out later on in the document, but I'm just doing a quick summary real quick here. And I believe that's all the changes from today. I think that's the summary chat. So hopefully you guys are excited. You guys enjoyed today's stream? You guys have fun? What's cap for CB efficiency? There is no cap. Oh, and the lightning skill changes too. Yeah, and I also plan on taking some of the lightning skills, and I plan on taking some of the lightning skills that have a 1 to X range and making it more like 20%, 15 to 25%, somewhere in that range of their top end as their minimum. So if something was previously 1 to 100 damage, it'll be something more like 15 to 25 to 100 damage. Just an example, or maybe I'll reduce the top end a little bit to offset that, whatever, right? It'll be on a case by case thing, but there will be some changes there. Yeah. Hopefully you guys are getting excited. Again, one more time, the upcoming season is going to be April 24th, 10 a.m. PST. The open beta will be April 20th to 21st. The closed beta will be April 11th to 19th. If you want to get involved in the closed beta, you can do anything from, create guides for the community. You can hit level 99 if you're one of the top 3 Uber killers. We invite our Prime Evil and Archangel supporters through Patreon or PayPal. If you're a content creator, whatever, a bunch of different ways to get in there. So you can either hop in and help the community, hit your in-game achievements, or you can be a supporter and you'll get in the closed beta. The open beta will be available to everybody, so don't feel FOMO about it. I also highly advise not donating just to play the beta. Only donate if you want to support the mod. The beta could be, up, down, whatever, or never how it's going to go, because the beta is about troubleshooting bugs to ensure a smooth launch, not about, trying to get early access. So don't donate just as like an early access thing. Just only donate if you want to support, and that's just a bonus on top. And yeah, hopefully you guys are having a great Saturday, and hopefully you guys are very excited. We're gonna get one last shout out here for everybody that's put in a lot of work on the mod over the years. If you guys can drop some hearts in chat for the developers, the moderators, the supporters, the community members who make maps for us, people who do art, just you guys hanging out in chat. Everybody, it's been a long journey to get where we are, and it's taken a village to build this. So I really appreciate that people rallied behind me in this journey early on. I've been very, very blessed to be surrounded by an awesome community and a lot of great friends that I met along the way. And I feel unbelievably blessed. This was at the beginning of PD2. It was always kind of a dream to do something like this. And at the beginning, it wasn't really meant to get as big as it's got. It was just we were just kind of bored doing it for fun in the summer. It's kind of grown a little bit beyond that at this point. So I appreciate it a lot. Thank you, Undid, for the 10 subs. I appreciate you a lot. So, a big shout out to everybody that's joined this journey and helped us get where we are. This is not something I could have ever done on my own. I was just, you know, a Papega streamer at the beginning of this, pitching ideas with a notepad. And like I said, I got really lucky meeting a lot of talented and great people that backed me up, and we supported each other. And look how far we've come now. It's pretty crazy. So, I appreciate you all. Much love. Thanks for hanging out. One more stream, you know. Here's a question. Is there ever any way for you to make this your business, make money off BD2? The best way would be for me to make my own game and leverage our player base to get eyes on the game, which is something I want to do in the future. I was prototyping my own game at the end of last summer. I've just had a lot going on in real life, but I'm planning on, after this season, I plan on getting back to prototyping my own game again. So that's the dream, is that I do make a standalone game. If anyone in chat is an Unreal developer that is interested and has experience enough that they can work on games that are online, definitely hit me up. Because I am going to be looking for probably some people to join me on that. I'm not a real developer. Hope that helps. Didn't you do an ARPG with a studio? I did work for a studio, yeah. I worked for a studio for a while. I was living in Europe for almost 2 years working on a game. Unfortunately, that studio ran out of money and had a bunch of legal issues with their publisher. Well, not legal issues, but they got into it with their publisher, blah, 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 and the game ended up just getting axed and the studio ran out of money and blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of an interesting experience. But yeah, I did work on that game for a couple of years. Unfortunately, they also ripped me off for 4,000 euros at the end of it, so that also sucked. But it is what it is. Is there a dono method that's not PayPal? You can do Patreon. Patreon. Your mic is so quiet. Really, I can't do much about that right now. Ashes of Creation? No, I never worked on Ashes. What for Doma, yeah. Stream voice level is so low. I can't do much about it right now. I can't talk louder because my throat's fucked, so. Yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out for one more stream. Much love to you guys. It's, as always, it's a blast. We're gonna see if there's anyone online that I know real quick that I can raid. Check real quick. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully you guys are getting very excited for the upcoming season. Check, going through my follow list real quick here. The VOD? Yeah, I'll make sure I post the VOD when I get out of here. Who should we raid, chat? Wait, who we raid? That mod's on. Garotha's online. I raided Dark Humility last time, I think, so maybe not DH this time. Hitch is playing D2R? He's dead to me. What do you mean? The guy's a Diablo streamer. Of course he's playing D2R. Why wouldn't he be? Raid Philanthropy? I could raid Philanthropy. He did shamelessly DM me begging for a raid, so we'll give it to him. Alright, we'll raid Philanthropy. We're giving some PD2 love here, chat. If you guys don't know, I'm not super familiar with Philanthropy stream, but he did host a PvP tournament not too long ago, so appreciate that a lot for him. Show him some love back for that, helping out the community. Alright, chat, we're gonna raid Philanthropy. And our raid message is going to be P2 Love as always. Where do the ideas for the season names come from? Are they just random? It's 50-50. They're either random or they're based on a mechanic that we're adding. And watching for Bay, he's a good person? Hell yeah, that's a W. Alright, chat, let's show him some love then. Looks like he's watching the stream, so he probably already knows. Philanthropy, if you can hear me right now, you're a pussy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Enjoy the raid, but I'm so toxic. At Donato G with the prime. Thank you. Alright, let's raid Philanthropy, guys. Show him some love. Don't actually say that to him. Show him some love, chat. He's a good dude. Say PD2 love. Drop him some hearts. Much love, guys. And we'll get you guys the next one. I'm toxic. It is what it is. I'm a man child. Alright, here you go, guys. We're gonna raid in 3, 2, 1. You guys are a good stream, and show some love to Philanthropy. Make sure you drop them a follow. Alright, bye, chat. Make sure you drop them a follow. Make sure you drop them a follow. Make sure you drop them a follow. Make sure you drop them a follow.
Yo! Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in.
More than you're taking.
A
new follower.
Oh shit. Guys. Didn't we had a beautiful dev stream today?
Follower.
And we have actually great news to share here too, man. We have great news to share.
A new follower.
All right, let me actually mute these alerts. Guys, if you are here, thank you, Senpai, by the way, for all the support. Senpai called you a pussy, yeah, I know.
Welcome to America's Top Model. Kalshi, trade on anything.
Sub Club members can get any footlong for just $6.99. Every irresistible sub is packed with tons of crispy, crunchy veggies, and you can plus it up with even more fresh flavor with Subway's irresistible signature sauces. And check out all the fresh sliced meats they're packing into every sub, like the footlong BMT with a whopping 54 grams of protein. And now buy any footlong in the app for just $6.99. Great bread, great meats, great sauce, great deal. Use this code in the app to get your $6.99 footlong today. Subway, eat fresh, feel good.
You can go all in and still go nowhere. Mastering effort starts with measuring it. Train smarter to go bigger with sleep, strain, and recovery. Only on the new Whoop.
Mark from from the High M clan. His name is Mark. He works on filters and stuff. And we will have something really great, a great tool that we will present here, by the way. Let me actually see. Mark is already in the channel, right? Yep. So, hello Mark. Hello Mark. 1 second, I need to check this Discord. Discord.
You weren't prepared.
Yeah. I didn't expect that, to be honest. Yo.
Oh wait, I think I heard myself echo. I think you're good.
Yeah, good. Is the voice too loud? Is it good, guys? Do you hear Mark? Because Mark will present something about the incoming tools. You're good? Okay, now very good. So, Mark, how do you want to do that? Do you want?
Oh,
me to
you drive. I'm here for the questions.
Oh shit! All right, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. All right. All right. So basically, what we will present here, or actually Mark will present it here. I'm just his tool. I'm also one of his tools. Nothing big here. Mark, and was it also others, Mark? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Fiction and Kasi
Yeah.
assisted.
Okay, perfect. So what they were working on is basically about a generic item filter, which is basically this one. A generic filter builder, which is a little bit as an example so people can know and understand that. A little bit like the filter blade from POV, just like specified or specialized in PD2. And this page is, or this tool is basically known as Filter Forge. Big W here towards Mark, Fiction, and all who participated here. It is a work of weeks, and hours that they invested into it. Mark, you will guide me, or should I just go and present certain stuff that I am aware of already?
Do the stuff that you like.
Okay. So basically, what you can basically do is, if you want to, for example, build your own filter here, right? This is basically, you have here an FAQ. Let's go actually there. When you have questions about what I can do, etc., there's the FAQ section here, where everything is kind of explained for people who have not great knowledge, like, for example, even myself. And there are certain generic or often asked questions answered here. And basically what you can do is basically build your own filter with this tool here, which is basically by clicking here by build my filter. And we will do an example run here, of course. Let's say, for example, since we saw so many changes about barbarians, you can click on barbarian, and you will basically showcase mostly barb items, right, Mark? That is the first step here, why we can choose it?
Yeah, if you're like, hey, I wanted to focus on barbarian stuff. You click that. It's just go through it. There's a lot more steps.
Yeah, okay, good. So basically, then the next step would be how strict you would like your filter to be, and then you can even select the strictness of it. For me, example, I would go for leaks that probably moderate or even strict, depending on what I would like to see, right? But let's go just like for a strict filter here. And then the next step would be, like, every step is basically asking a question to you. What are your likings? What do you would like to have? And basically here it is, how do you want to be notified about the drops? And I would go here in my personal preference as a maximum. You can have no map icons, no sounds, no things, etc., which would be none. Then minimal, only like minimap dots on valuable items and no sounds, but standard would be still good drops and dots on lesser items with no sounds, and full would be map icons, drop sounds on higher runes, uniques, and key items. I like everything, to be honest, so I go for the maximum here. And then you can also choose basically the coloring, the color theme, which is maybe Mark will add more options here, etc. I will also guide you how you guys can experience these kind of features yourself. So you can also try and help Mark in having some ideas. What I will show this a little bit later. So basically, let's say you like the rainbowing color right here, let's say. We will click that. And then, I'm actually proud, Mark. This was my idea here, you know? Then basically you can have also like certain symbols here in front of the high runes and the items that you will showcasing. Basically what you can do is yeah, having here certain signs or symbols, whatever the term is, selected. You can also change that in the end, which I will show you individually, for example, and you can experiment and test it around. Let's say we want to have it like this, for example, with the diamonds. All right, then step 6 here is what extra info should items show, for example, right? I would, for example, only click here in the sense of socket count. That is showing me the number of socketable on the socketables on the items. And then you can have also item level, vendor price, crafting info, is serial tag, which I will also choose, for example. Also seen. So for example, you can also reveal unique names. That means basically that a unique diadem would not shown as a unique diadem, it would be shown as Griefon's Eye, which it is basically, right? And I like this more for my preference in that sense. But also you have here white items like 3 tornado or 3 bow on the items to show the stuff, you know. Def Mark, man. You need to ask Mark, you know. Very cool tool, yeah, Senpai. It's very amazing. Like, huge W to Mark, Fiction, and all the other people who were involved in this. I'm just basically... Can you link this? Yeah. Mark, I will link this, right? No problem.
I'll link it. You keep going.
Okay, perfect. And then basically, you can basically select your options here as always. And then in step 7, it would be basically, if you want to highlight also rune ward bases, I would pick probably in the start of the season, yes, for example, because you can always do a couple of worldstone shards for that. Then we go next, and here you can choose basically what you would like to hide, like about gold, potions, and consumables. I always hide mostly everything here, in the sense of I do not care about these things. Let me ping this real quickly.
Already pinned it.
Oh, you pinned it, perfect. And yeah, basically on step 9 you could also see item tooltips and recipes, which means basically item descriptions, which is basically socket cube recipes, which is like RAL tool plus a gem, as an example, to add sockets, and also the selling value of the item, which how much gold you would get, for example, which I will not use in this example here. Then you can also have an upgrade recipe here on identified uniques, assets, and rares, where you can see what runes and gems you would need to upgrade, for example, before you would like, in that sense, if you are aiming for, let's give an example of an Viper Magi, which you will basically upgrade in the sense of to get 3 sockets if you want to aim for that. And yeah, and then also imbue slam suggestions here, which is basically another option. On the last step, it is basically then done, and you would basically just click build filter, and then you would have basically the whole code implemented already here by FilterForge. And let's say, for example, suggestion, yeah, Mark will read all of that. Nice, he is already active here. Basically, you have now everything implemented here, and you can go here under the tab of live preview and see basically how it would look like. And let's say you do not like the colors or etc. Let's say we want to change this, for example, right? Which is basically all the low runes to SOT runes because they are categorized. And in that sense, you would just click on go to line, for example. As you can see, I will just make an example. I will turn everything here in black, or let's say only the bear rune in a different color as an example. You would go basically here to the line, and in order to change that name, you see we are now in this line, and basically, sorry, I went too far. If you click on go to line, you see that he is selecting the line already. Pre-selected, so you know where it is right now that you want to change, right? And what you can do basically is change, for example, the rune name, which is here right now low to SOT, right? Let's say we want to have it in, what do we choose here? Let's say purple, right? You would basically just need to change it here manually, and the code itself changing the color also already. And then you would go here again, and you would again test it here, and you see the color change now to purple. But if you, for example, want to have something else in that sense, you can adjust everything here, every example here, even the uniques, like a Shaco, the Griefon's Eyes, the Crown of Age, which are tier 0 items basically. You can change everything here individually by your liking. So this is a tool that Mark worked on for weeks and weeks and spent hours of hours here. I was observing this from behind the scenes a little bit in his Discord channel, and I was very impressed. I already knew what is coming. I am actually very happy about this. And yeah, this is then basically, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is basically then a local filter, right? Which you
Yep.
can then basically import, and how to use that filter is then basically, let me actually close that for a second, but you would need to do that on your launcher, which you would then put it in the local filter section here, and then you would select that filter, you would save it, and then you would just run the game. And then your filter would be loaded and be active to use. In that sense, Mark, do you want me to go over something else here? Maybe here this.
Yeah, so let's load a community authors filter.
Okay. So basically what we can also do now, for example, since we have already creators here with filters, we can basically import and change filters that we already like so much that we use for years. For example, let's go and check out Kasahi's that Mark worked on my filter here, which is a looks filter here. You can basically just upload that, right? And then you would have basically that flute filter from that creator here inside, which means you can adjust it to your liking. For example, you don't like that green and purplish combination, right? For example, that I chose, which I like so much. You can change that in blue, yellow, blue, red, whatever soccer team you like as a combination. You can change all of this individually. And by that, you just need to go basically to the line, which is here, right, Mark?
You hover each one to figure out which line it is. So filters the red top down, and when there's a continue, it continues the logic, and it constructs the final string. So you'd have to find the part of, so like a lot of the community filters are very complex. So like if you look here, there's 7 lines that make this item. So you'd have to find the one that has the colored @ signs in it in order to edit it. So if you hover each one of these to the right a little bit, Phil, you can see where that's coming from and then find it. Not the caret, the actual text that's truncated. If you hover, it shows all of it.
Yeah, here. And to change that, we would basically click here, right, and then go to the line, which is basically bringing us. Didn't.
Oh, did that break again?
Yeah, probably. But basically, because this is still in development, as you guys see the idea behind that, we showcased this before. Before you basically, whatever you want to change, for example, you can basically just go onto the terminal line here, and then just change like even the signs if you do not like them, for example. But I will do it now smart enough, which we will just copy everything here, for example, and we will go into that and find it with our basic stuff. Oh, it shows here. So high runes is basically then here, and you would basically be able to adjust everything to your liking, even the filters that you use from other creators. But a warning here is basically, because these are local filters, you will be not able to receive any, like for example, there's an update on Kasahi's filter, on Mark's filter, on Krishat's filter, or on Rufus' filter, or whatever it is, and you use your local filter, you will not get updated versions of it. That is the only, let's say, little downside if you use an individual filter from a creator. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark.
That's correct. And another thing to note here is let's say you really like a filter, and there's one item that it doesn't show, and you really want to show that one item. So we haven't really gone through the editor here yet. This is still a bit of a work in progress. We added a bunch of features even just last night. But on the left here, you can start constructing a filter line using a bunch of stuff to make a filter line. And when you're done constructing that filter line, you can hit pop, and it puts it at the very top of the filter. So the whole filter is then ignored for that line. So you're like, hey, I really like Kasahi's filter, but it doesn't show this one crafting base at the highest filter level, and I really want that one crafting base. Well, you can load in Kasahi's filter, you can make that one line, put it at the top using this whole interface, and it'll work. And you don't have to figure out how to do it well. You don't have to craft your own line. It makes it easier. That was one of the big goals that we had from this.
Yeah, and these conditions that Mark explained, for example, are all in the FAQs also explained here. And also there are links towards PD2 wiki where certain codes are basically well explained. Maybe not easy to understand for people who do not know anything about, let's say, coding, if that is the correct term, Mark, but it is definitely learnable because I had zero knowledge, and I could, with just tiny help from Mark, adjust certain things on my own, which was really great. So I think everybody has the capacity, if they invest some time in it and they want something individual, they will be able to do and create for themselves something. Yeah. But yeah, this is basically the whole idea about FilterForge in that sense. And yeah, also what I would like to show is basically, and we are counting on your support here. Thank you again, Senpai, and to the PD2 to community in that sense to have a little audience here. But Mark is counting on the others like Fiction, etc. are counting on really like feedback here. And how you do that? Like say you work on something and you figure out something, hey, why is this function not here? Wouldn't be great to see certain stuff here on the side, and what can I do to have that, or is it even possible? In that sense, you would basically go on report issue. You would need a Git hub, and you would just a GitHub account, and you would just use here's new issue, for example, and I will just write something here, and I would like to have I mark, etc. I would love to see X feature for X topic, and then you would basically just create it, and Mark would have then like a ticket, like an IT ticket, let's say, as many people know from their companies, would receive it, and he could work on it. That is basically the idea here. And Mark can only do more improvements. The base of that is now founded, but Mark is really open to suggestions, to improvements, to ideas that you guys have to bring that FilterForge to the next level. And Mark, maybe you want to say something on addition, maybe?
No, you summed it up perfectly. Like this goal of the tool here is to help people that don't know how to write filters, that want to edit a filter a little bit, that or they want to make a filter from scratch, because you can do that using the wizard. You can have a base, and you can go from that base and make your own filter. There's going to be updates to this as the dev streams go on to add in the new information. So if you're going to use this to make a filter for season 13, I'd at least wait until the open beta where we have all the new items and everything added to this. This will be continually updated through the season as the season goes. I enjoy working on these community tools. I enjoy building filters, but I don't know how to display this stuff to somebody that isn't, haven't been making filters since season 1 of PD2. So like the UI probably needs a lot of help, but I don't know how to display that well because I just know what I can look at a filter line and know what it means. So I need help from people that haven't made a filter to make this as good of a tool as it can be.
Best example was me, and he got a lot of improvements already done. So it works, guys. And you can be even like very open. Mark is a very friendly and very supportive guy. If somebody doesn't know him, he's from the High Am clan, where they are pushing always like every season #1 99 in softcore. And no matter what you are writing or having a day, don't be shy about it. Seriously, don't be shy. If it's not doable, he will let you guys know probably, or I don't know how the feedback is working here with these GitHub tickets. But if something is not possible, it's not possible, but if it's possible, he will put the work into it, most likely. Depending on his private life, of course, right? And
Yep.
yeah, I need to say thank you so much again to you, Mark, for all the support for the PE2 community over the years. And keep on continuing like this. If you guys have any questions, we are now really available. I hope I didn't miss anything here. Maybe Mark wants to add something, but yeah. Hey Mark, this is dope. Does this work also for SOE PD2 mod where you made the filters for already?
I have not made filters for that mod. This usually could be forked for that mod of PD2's mod. This isn't that advanced, so you could easily fork this for that. I know somebody adapted a bunch of the community filters for that PD2, the mod of PD2 mod, but no, you could edit it. It's just it doesn't have any, doesn't have all the specific to that mod features.
Yeah, I hope like I was so focused here on explaining certain stuff, so I couldn't read the chat at all. But yeah, if you have any questions related to FilterForge, now is the time to ask certain stuff. Would be really amazing. Thanks, I'm sure it was someone from your clan, but well noted. Probably Fabio, right? Because he played.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. But meanwhile, we can go actually also to the planner to showcase, I think, Mark. What do you think?
Yeah, you could show the new features in the planner.
Yeah.
So we got some big updates there.
So basically you can go also, if anybody this is basically this page here, which I will link here. And just in case, yeah, okay. So basically you have basically also a reworked PD2 planner here, which is, let me go actually a little bit over here to little bit showcase also this page here. Here we have like a solo mapping tier list, which is basically showcasing certain chars which you can unselect here. Let's say, for example, you want a starter Sorg for next season. Yeah, and here you could basically go. You see also what is like focused on, etc. And let's say you want to play, you want to do chaos, early maps, key farming, Uber Twister, which is like the most thing that people would like to do basically. You would click on base planner and you would see what you would basically need for that. You will have here also your skill tree, you will have your inventory here on items, what is like mainly needed. Where our open spaces is basically freedom of choice, what you can do. And here you have also little data, etc. How your sets would look like. And here you will have also the a legend. Here, how to also adjust certain things, and basically you can have a little bit of freedom to make also your own build guide here for people maybe, or for friends to share, which is basically in this section here. And you click on here on the PD2 planner, you can basically create your own character here. Let's say, for example, a Sorg. Let's put it him, and if you shift click like that, it will get to 99, for example. Where is this? It's here. It's here. And basically you could change also other stuff here. Let's say you want to have a helm. Let's say, let's go and pick Harlequins. Where is it? It's here. And then you can also corrupt it and provide, let's say, for example, 2 sockets, right? Mark, how do I change the socket count here? Sorry.
You can't. It's just gonna roll best roll always.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
You can do skill and sockets if you want.
Yeah, right. So basically, we have now here +1 skill and 2 sockets, for example, and then you can adjust everything here for whatever liking you have. And let's say for an armor, let's just put whatever is in my mind. Let's put Viper magic. Viper, skin of the Viper, right? Yeah. Skin of the Viper, and then you can again choose your corruption here. Let's say +1 skill and socket chest, and then you. Oh, that's not working. Like. Or socket, and then +1. Yeah. This is so basically the rule is first to socket the stuff and then add another corruption on top of it, which will work. But like this, you can basically play around here, and also. Mark, maybe you can explain this button here, make build read only, why it is here and for what?
Yeah, so let's say you made a build and you want to share it with somebody. When you click that, it makes everything read only. So they can't accidentally, change a stat point, change a skill point, change an item. So you click that, and everything here is encoded in the URL. It makes the URLs gigantic, but we don't have a backend for this. It's very cheap to run. It's free to run on Git, for instance, because of that. And you then have a URL. It's giant. You can use like a tiny URL to shorten it, but you can share that URL and other people that can use it. You can set a build back to read once it goes to read only. That's not a, it can go back and forth freely, but it makes the UI simpler for when you share.
Yeah, so what basically Mark is saying, because it is very costly from my understanding. For example, you want to share the...
Welcome to America's Top Model. Kalshi, trade on anything.
Something happens when you put crispy, all-white meat chicken nuggets inside a Crunchwrap slider with your choice of sauce inside. What happens is, probably ordering one of each. The new Crispy Chicken Crunchwrap Slider, a brand new classic, only at Taco Bell.
I think our whole neighborhood has moved.
The end of Oak Street.
You could be vaping formaldehyde, which is used in taxidermy.
Oh dear.
What?
Formaldehyde. Oh dear.
What?
I knew it. Oh dear, oh dear.
What?
Aren't you an elk?
I don't know what I am.
The fire charm, I know these stuff like that, or actually this is a lightning, sorry. And you can basically also fill up this with a legend here, and you can also drag jewels, runes or gems from the inventory to a socketed equipment slot. And for example, you want to have socketables, let's say lightning, and you can basically put this now here inside, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yep. Why'd your thing?
Yeah,
you had drag and drop. There you go.
And basically you can socket your stuff here like this, and you can see certain stats here with lightning pierce, mastery, etc. And then also, let's say, would go for a Nova build. You would see now how it is now with the damage, etc, etc, etc. Now, of course, the display is not correct. We don't have a weapon, we don't have an amulet, etc. But that lightning facet contributes also for the Nova damage, for example. And this is how you guys can build your own char for the next upcoming season to theoretically play around, how people would say in Path of Exile, to POB around, right? But sorry for that. But yeah, this is a great tool here also, which we wanted to showcase, that this is available. In general, I will link this again for you guys. This is a source where also other sources are shared. For example, we have here Harry P's damage calculator or certain stuffs here, where you can compare weapon A to weapon B in the sense of, would it be, for example, what I did with this tool last season, my great claw that I had. I checked, would it be make sense if I would go for min damage ED jewels or only max ED jewels, or would it be even enough to only use, let's say only ohms, for example. How are these kind of things changing? You will have also here many other options to click on, etc. And also certain auras. Is that correct, or is it changed now, Mark?
There's auras. You gotta specify the exact percentages. The reason why it's not like a skill drop down is it's different if you're a party or not a party. There's a lot of moving things. I can't just have an import table for that. It's simpler just to ask you, hey, what's the percentage? And then you could also do a guesstimate, because you might not know if the aura that you're getting is exactly level 40 or exactly 39. It's just easier to do it this way for all parties.
Right. And also, which is very important, many people doesn't know, he will also consider the Deadly Strike, where with the upcoming changes for the next seasons that Senpai showcased today, with certain items as like the Death Cleaver or the Wraith Skin, etc. You will see also how much, let's say, Deadly Strike you will have, and if you add that weapon, how much the average DPS will be from weapon A compared to weapon B, right? So it's a great tool for experimenting before making a decision what to use as a socket option here, like joules, ohms, whatever it is, and that way you can basically theory craft here. So before you make an item which is like not multiple mirrorverse, sorry, I'm coming fresh out from PoE, which is basically some on mirror level, you would really make these calculations here to make a certain decision. What kind of jewels you would like to have inside, and if so, does it make it sense, or does it only make sense to get an Ohm rune here inside, right?
Yeah, you can't die on us now, Phil.
Yeah, sorry. It was itching already since 2 minutes, and now I needed to release it. But yeah, here you have also, which is actually very good, here, which I really like. And even I would call myself, let's say, an experienced mapper. I also checked here certain, because this season I played so many chars in PD2, that certain maps I never ran. Like,
this isn't updated yet. I only have like 3 maps that I've updated. Bork did a really cool job. He made new images for the wiki, which look really cool, but that means I have to redo all of my map pathing guides.
I see.
But so there's a lot that are missing here. But like here, let's just click on what is it? Lost Temple. It's a tier 2 map.
Yeah, sure.
No one knows how to run Lost Temple because it is a mess.
Right.
but Lost Temple actually has one of the highest total XPs for a tier 2 map. It also has one of the highest XPs for a tier 2 map when you're a higher level, because it is very heavy on the champion elite counts in the text files. But when you're running them, it's very hard to run them efficiently. I think it was like 5 seasons ago, we figured out how to run Lost Temples correctly when we, did the data and figured out, hey, Lost Temple is a really good map to run. So, for example, here's Lost Temple. It makes sense after you do it a bunch of times, but our whole thing is no go backs. Try to minimize portals that like going to a portal, going to town, going to the red portal. So it's fluid, and this is more geared towards party play because of that. Solo, as if you're a teleporting Sork, throw these out the window. How you teleport through a map because you can go through walls is completely different. This is assuming that you're not teleporting.
Right.
But it's more knowledge to more people. I think everybody has more fun.
Oh, definitely. And this way you can check, are you efficient enough to run these, in the sense of, or are you already efficient running your maps because with no backtracking, etc. And that way you can check each map here out. For example, let's go for Pandemoniums. Oh, this is not updated, for example. But for example, why I choose now Pandemoniums is basically this season I had a char which was basically able to run Pandemoniums, right? And I was checking even here what is the most efficient way, and I practice, and within a couple 2 hours I could memorize all 3 layouts by just like figuring out where I started, where is the boss arena, there's this difference and this difference, because the starting point is the same here on layout 1 and 3, and that way you can basically improve your map timing also. Just like a little advice for you guys here, general advice. But yeah, and other than that, you have also, for example, a boss tier list here, which is, I do not remember with who you worked with, Mark, to get
Although everybody in my group, people from all of the class chats on the official Discord, last season 12, Heelan's group, they used to do not a tier list, they would do a, hey, these builds are good list. Right. And they merged with us. They brought a lot of the boss tiering choices to us, and more people that we have that give input here, the better, and the more accurate it can be. And we don't like the card of like A, B, C, D, E. Like it's too granular. Like a top build in one class is gonna feel good like a top build in another class. If one clears like 5% faster, if you go and loot one item, there's your 5% time.
Right.
Like the two builds, clearing a map. So it's more like what builds do maps fast, and you'll have a good time playing that build.
Right. And what you can basically do here, yeah, like the purpose is here really like in the min-max mind, right? And to get the most efficient out of you as an individual gamer. But what you can do is basically here click on, for example, Diablo cone, and then it would also recommend you how much resistance you should have for the Diablo cone on your fire resistance caps, on how much absorb you would like to have, and also how much PDR you would like to have. Then also the materials are displayed, and also the rewards. And by that you can check here, for example, each class here. For example, Meteor is classed as easy, also as Hydra, and Blizzard is moderate, and Charge Blow and Lighting is very, very hard, for example. But by this you can see what possibilities you have in that sense. And same goes with Ratma, for example, where also every details are shared here. And also basically it's a kind of tier list in the sense of how easy it is with a certain chart to do, right? For example, the Rubbish 3 that I played also this season is actually really easy. Of course, bosses were this season a little bit scuffed, not gonna lie, of course. but you will see certain classes, on which classes you should focus on and why, etc. I don't know if they are planning, Mark can say, elaborate on a little bit on top of that, if they want to also have in this boss guiding tier list also, let's say, an example of a build to see what people are wearing. Maybe that's an idea for the future.
Problem of gear setups on bossing is like, let's say we do that. We do a gear setup here for Berserk, for Bosser, and someone goes and they copy it and like, man, I can't get the kill done. And it says this is easy. Bossing in PD2, especially, tier 2 bossing, is not easy. Any of the builds that are marked as easy here are still hard. And you give an experienced player that character, the build, and let's say they've never done that boss fight before, they'll probably fail it a bunch of times till they succeed.
Right.
All this is in the view of, hey, you've done the boss before, or you're good at the boss. And some of these builds here that are easy on tier 2, they're, the other things that might be hard on tier 2 could be easy on tier 0 because it's a completely different balance. And they might do T0s way faster, but they stop at T0. They can't do the harder tiers. And you have to be very resourceful when you're doing boss fights, and you have to really understand. So that's why if you scroll the top here, Phil, we have a list of resistances that you need to have for each boss fight, and you got to have a knowledge on how to build a character if you want to do boss fights. So that's why we're very hesitant to adding planner links there and stuff,
right?
Because you got to be, you got to have some knowledge of how to build a character to do boss fighting well, and that's our philosophy behind that choice.
Right, absolutely understandable. Yeah, people get pigeonholed to tiers where tier builders basically test without any looting. If I have a 3-minute map, I would still take 9 minutes for the map to loot stuff. Yeah, IQ cash. But this is like exactly what the min-maxing mindset of like high-level players are doing. Let me give you an example of my good homie Real John, for example, and even like many from the High M clan, right? For example, they do not even loot anything that is below 0.25 or 0.5 high runes. They are just blasting 3-minute maps, 3.5-minute maps, and just like looting what is basically very easy to sell, because they are calculating that maps per hour in that sense, because the more maps you do, the more kills you have, the more high runes you have per hour, and over the day you will have much more generated in that sense, just like to give you a little insight about that. When we got patch notes always? No, Kasai. Senpai raided us because we wanted to showcase that Filter Forge, etc.
Go to the solo list for a second.
Yeah, sure.
This is something that we added this week. So uncheck everything and just check starter.
Yep.
So let's say you want to just leave it up to the gods at what you want to play between all these. There's a thing that Heelan always does. He creates this giant wheel with every single build. We now have a wheel built into our tier list, so all the builds that after you apply your filters here, let's say you can't decide between them. We have a wheel here now, so spin the wheel. Let's see. What are you gonna play, Phil?
That is just a test run, guys. This is just a test run. No, we will use that chart for the 99 push. Fuck.
Oh no. Oh no.
Shockwave.
Please be good. Druid, oh gosh.
And it's a shockwave druid, holy moly. Well, one DPS slot is gone now, Mark.
Oh no. Looks like we're running 7 to 99.
Yeah. Amazing. But this is basically how you can also use the spin the wheel button. And let's say, for example, you want to have only the Sorks, you can also do that by clicking that. And then you can decide what you basically, if you want to leave it to the RNG gods, what you will play for the next season, right? But basically, just a fun fact or fun option here to do, which is really cool. And if you want to have all here, you can also spin all of them here. But yeah, this is pretty cool in that sense. Blade Sentinel. Oh, that's also that is okay, Mark. By the way, if you guys don't know, but I saw some data. Actually, do I have this here? Yeah, for Mace 1. I will link this also. You can see also data. You can also put your own stuff here inside that Mace 1 is doing this here. I never talked to Mace 1, but you can see what builds did what map on which gear level, in which, how much density and how long they needed basically. And you can basically check here, for example, Assassins in that sense, and you will see, that's why I had this idea right now. Blade Sentinel, the Poison Blade Sentinel build is extremely fast, and was very surprising for me, for example. But here you can check also other builds from this season, in the sense of how fast it was run, and then there are YouTube links, and also basically there are rules towards that. Submission data, no, where was it? Landing page, yeah, here are the rules for submitting for these kind of data tracking stuff here. So you can also have maybe an idea, if you see the patch notes, what can be basically, or maybe an option for you, or yeah, an optional possibility, what character or class and skill you would like to run in future. This came in my mind. Sorry, Mark.
No, yeah, that's a super cool tool.
Yeah, definitely a huge W to Mace 1 here. But yeah, you have also here, like, for example, many other external sources here on this page, like, for example, a corrupted zone tracker. You will see what zone will be corrupted. Very important maybe for day 1 and 2 for certain chars to run, right? And you can also get notifications here, etc. There are really cool stuff here. Also, we have Lars Twitch channel here, which is I'm the Anti-Noob. Just linking also this in Twitch chat. Make sure to follow him. Great guy, very knowledgeable guy. Yeah, and many other stuff here, guys, like attack speed calculators, and also here's a real chance to hit any mob from Wooks, our boss, how meme bosser. PD2search.com is a nice tool for searching items easily instead of using the wiki. I do not know that. Do you know PD2search.com, Mark?
PD2search. I don't know that one. I think that URL might be conflating with another one.
Oh, but it's not a real. Oh. Oh, no. He made. Yeah, that's the dead one. Maybe is
yeah, PD2 tools, is that what you mean?
PD tools? Yeah, this is build tracker, an economy tracker like PoE Ninja in Path of Exile. Oh, weird, it's not working. Yeah, PD2 tools is very. Oh, it's a search. Let me message him. Yeah. But yeah, you have many resources here. I think PD2 tools is also here. Yeah, exactly. You have here really amazing sources. Besides that, the filter files that we just presented to you guys, like seriously, we would really appreciate. Not we, Mark would really appreciate if you could really play around with that. One example of today was Rufu will definitely play, and he was amazed. Rufu is also a loot filter creator, and his first message was here in Twitch chat in the afternoon when I was playing Last Epoch. He was really saying that saves hours of time for him even, you know. And yeah, it's like if you can really try it out and get some new ideas in, because the idea flow of our human brain is always sometimes a little bit blocked when you are working on something like for many hundreds of hours, and if somebody from the exterior comes in and sees something that they would like to have as an suggestion, you can basically really just click the button report issue, and you can open a new ticket here, like with a new issue button, and then you basically can help the people who created this to adjust the stuff that you would like to see, if it's possible, if it's good, etc, etc, etc. Because all they are doing this is for free, first of all, and they are doing this for the love towards Project Diablo 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. Did I lie?
I've never taken a penny, and I refuse to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I will give you a live example of mine. When he was doing my filter, right? My filter in that sense of Kasahi's version, I really wanted to give him something, and he refused it. He refused it. He refused it. You know what he said?
Yep.
You know what he said, actually? It just came into my mind. If you want to support me, just donate towards PD2. That was his sentence, guys. So you can see what kind of guy he is. Very appreciated, and a big win for Project Diablo 2 over since season 1, basically. Alright, that was enough praise towards Mark. Right, and a little side note, by the way, I beat Mark this season by perfect skull rolling. It was like 14-4 or something. So yeah. Yeah. But this is like basically really cool. You can just import, let's say, for example, my field, I want to have a rework. I don't need to get on the nerves of Mark anymore in that sense. And he basically blocked me also in the past couple of times, because no, I'm just kidding. But if I want to have some changes, I can do them myself, and I just sent him basically the code here, the code editor, everything, and he can just put it on live. And it also, because this was basically a community created filter from my community, that Lux version here. And if we want to see something else as an idea, we can work on that pretty easily now, and just Mark would basically need to copy paste it and put it online, as it is basically available then here also. Yeah.
Let's do a more complex edit.
Yeah, sure.
So let's do a import from author, and let's work on Kryjards.
Sure. Which one?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right, go to the preview.
Right.
So one thing that's always bothered me on some filters are when people have a stackable item and they show a stackable item of quantity 1. And let's say you're in that group of people and you want to edit this. So looking at Kryjards filter, it has it here. So
yeah,
we follow these lines. The third one here, if you hover the third one here,
this one?
Yeah, that line. If you notice, this is the line that actually has the quantity tag in it. Not that one, the next one down.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah.
That one has the quantity tag in it. So let's go edit that line. So click the arrow. That's probably not going to work because that bug's getting fixed. So 4973.
It is working. It is working.
There you go. So now if you look at this, like, hey, quantity greater than 0, well, let's make this quantity greater than 1.
Done? Can test it?
Yep. Now go all the way up to the live preview now.
And
there you go.
It's gone. Like, if this is getting on your nerves in that sense, for example, like Mark is saying, which he doesn't like as a personal preference, right? You can just basically adjust whatever you like from a creator. You can adjust them now pretty easily, in the sense when you know what you are doing. But therefore we have the FAQ here also as a help. Yeah,
And by all means, if you guys have a question in here and you don't know how to do something, create the get issue. Like, I will get the FAQ enriched with it, or your question might inform, hey, that's something that we need to solve with the UI and improve the web page itself.
Right. Right. So no matter what questions, etc. you have, put them here in this report issue tag. And you can basically mark and improve the FAQ, like the most common questions that are asked. And it's very simple answered then as an answer. And basically that way we can, or Mark can improve basically Filter Forge for the community here. Got a question. How much time did you put into this so far, Mark?
Yeah, so a majority of our time has been planning and deciding what we want to do and what the goal is of this. So back in January, Kasi and I were talking a lot, not on voice, he's too shy, but saying, hey, we really need to build something like this. And Fiction started working on filters with us in our little group together on my Discord. And he brought a bunch of really new ideas to filters, and Dominus has some really cool features that are going to be announced soon for the filters. It's nothing private. It's just it makes filter creating a lot easier. So like there's some lines and filters that right now take like say 60 lines in my filter, which are going to be just one filter line going forward. Right. And all this new blood and new stuff has brought a bunch of ideas. Like we decided, yeah, let's do this. Let's actually build this season. And here we are. Oh, look, Kasi joined Discord.
Holy,
man, this is the first time all year.
This is a premiere. What the fuck?
Roll out the fucking red carpet.
No, I didn't. You didn't hear nothing.
Welcome.
So, yeah, I can't really gauge how much time, like actual time coding with AI, like that's an enigma. Like you can give it a very well written prompt and it can go churn out something that used to take like months for you to build by hand, or something we call artisanal coding now. So like it's very hard to answer that question correctly, but we had a bunch of really good ideas to get to this point, and it took a while to aggregate them all together.
Right. So 8-Bit is now asking, so does that mean if you're doing a trade and someone drops 2 bear in a stack, will it show the 2? Yes. It will just not show anymore the quantity with only 1. So basically we changed that line here. Which one was it? Oh, it's now gone, yeah. It's now gone. But basically
it doesn't match, so you don't see anymore.
Yeah, basically what we did now here is changing the quantity bigger than 0 towards bigger than 1. So logically, everything that is now bigger than 1, which is like 2, 3, 4, if somebody dropping 4 bear runes on the ground or 2 bear runes, you will see the tag with X2, X3, X4, depending on...
With Popeye's new $5 faith menu, you can get this, or this, or this, or this. And no one's stopping you from getting them all. Now there's an idea.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Get tax expertise without hidden fees. Switch to a TurboTax expert for $150. All tax situations, all returns, $150 all in, no surprises. Now this is taxes.
Yo, AI, I know you're all about the footwear, so I got you something.
One big shoe?
Flip it over. Boom! It's a shoe phone, huh?